The Democratic Alliance has built much of its political identity on the promise of clean governance, transparency, and accountability. For years, the party has positioned itself as Southie's moral alternative, the political force that would root out corruption, expose irregularities, and restore public trust in public institutions. But the latest developments surrounding the Department of Basic Education's 1.6 billion rand textbook procurement controversy raise an important question. Will the DA practice what it preaches when accountability is required within its own ranks? Now, this is not about rushing to conclusions, and it's not about prematurely, condemning anyone. It is about watching closely and asking whether the same standards the DA demands from others will now be applied internally.
Molini, and welcome to yet another episode of Conversations with Nkosi. Now, this is the news commentary section where we will be offering insightful commentary and exploring various perspectives on the stories that shape our world.
Basic Education Minister Siviwe Kgarube has requested that National Treasury investigate allegations of irregularities linked to the Department of Basic Education's textbook procurement process. Reports indicate that the concerns center around Lighthouse Publishers, a company allegedly registered only days after tender specifications were released, yet approved for contracts linked to a procurement program valued at approximately 1.6 billion rand. Now, this program was intended to provide learning materials to over 13 million South African learners. And naturally, allegations of the scale demand serious scrutiny. To her credit, Minister Kgarube has called for a probe. That is exactly what should happen. But now comes the real test, because requesting an investigation is only the first step. What matters is what follows. Now, regarding the big question, this matter unfolded within the Department of Basic Education, which means oversight is now under the spotlight. Now, this is not about assigning personal blame before investigations conclude, but it's about holding leadership to the standards that they themselves have publicly committed themselves to. Now, South Africans should now be asking, will this process be transparent? Will the findings be publicly communicated? Will there be consequences if wrongdoing is confirmed? And will implicated officials be held accountable without hesitation? But let us also not shy away from the fact that it is currently election season. Now, for now, the focus should also remain on, observation rather than accusation. But observation must be active, because this moment presents Minister Kgarube with an opportunity to, you see the way she was loud about the Bella bill? That's the same energy we need here. Yeah, but this moment alone just, presents the minister with an opportunity to demonstrate whether the Democratic Alliance's commitment to clean governance is a practical governing principle or simply powerful political messaging. Now, we can also just say this was one of, those many DA accountability tests, because this is where the broader political conversation begins. When allegations of corruption emerge within ANC-led departments, municipalities, or state-owned entities, the Democratic Alliance is often among the loudest voices demanding immediate suspensions, resignations, forensic investigations, full public transparency, strong consequent management. And to be fair, those demands are necessary in a healthy democracy, but accountability only carries weight when it is applied consistently. The public should not lower its expectations simply because this controversy emerged within, a DA-led department. We need to keep the same scrutiny, the same urgency, the same standards, because clearly this government of national unity, flop, kake, people don't want to admit that. Anything less would raise difficult questions about whether accountability is truly a principle or merely a political, strategy. Now let's get into why this matters. Corruption, guys, it does not wear party colors. It doesn't have a gender. It doesn't have, a criteria. It doesn't care whether governance is blue, green, red, or black, It thrives wherever oversight weakens. It flourishes wherever trust replaces scrutiny. And if the Democratic Alliance genuinely wants to distinguish, itself from the very governance failures that it continues to critique, then this is the exact moment to prove it. The same energy that they use Goodyear George is the same energy that needs to apply it here. Not through statements, not through press conferences, not through carefully managed messaging, but through action, transparent, decisive, measurable action. Now, Salisis Kuluma, guys, about what happens next. Right now, South Africans should keep their eyes on what follows this investigation request. Now, this is the moment where rhetoric must meet reality. If wrongdoing is confirmed, then accountability must be swift and visible. That means full transparency, immediate action against implicated officials, a public explanation of oversight failures, and clear corrective measures to prevent future irregularities. This is not about attacking Minister Kwarube per se, but it is rather about watching whether she actually acts accordingly and exactly as promised, because leadership is not tested when exposing the failures of others. Leadership is tested when accountability knocks on your own door. And in closing, the DBE tender scandal is now more than a procurement controversy. It is a test. It is a test of consistency, and it is a test of political integrity. We can also just say that it's a test of whether the DA is willing to hold itself to the same standards it expects from everyone else. South Africans should not prejudge the outcome, but they should absolutely pay attention, because how this is handled may tell us far more about the DA's governing philosophy than any campaign promise ever could. And the question then remains, will the Democratic Alliance practice what it preaches? So, Give family, what do you guys think? Is this a genuine opportunity for the Democratic Alliance to prove its commitment to accountability? Or will this expose a double standard in how political scrutiny is applied in South Africa? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And also, guys, the full article link will be in the description box below. That marks the end of today's video. Thank you so much for lending your eyes and ears. I hope that you found today's video informative. Please do not forget to click on that subscription button or light the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any new uploads. Nkosi.